So today I'm very excited because I get to test out and review the MeatStick's brand new 4X wireless thermometer. So I've had the MeatStick X for quite some time now, and I personally believe it is the best wireless thermometer on the market. So I did a video comparing the MeatStick X to the Meter Plus. And in that video, you will see why I like the MeatStick over the Meter Plus. But now the MeatStick just came out with this brand new 4X model. They sent it out to me to give it a test, and that's what I'm gonna be doing today. And supposedly the 4X is even better than the MeatStick X. So I got it unboxed and it looks pretty identical to the MeatStick X. Now the only real differences here are on the charger, it doesn't say it just says MeatStick, and it also has the 4X logo on there. Another difference is on the temperature probes, the ceramic handle on the 4X is actually a grayish color compared to a blackish color on the MeatStick X. So not too much visual changes between the MeatStick X and the 4X. The big changes here are inside of the charger and the temperature probe. Now the reasoning behind the 4X name on this is because inside the temperature probe it actually has 4 different sensors, which is pretty incredible. So it has the usual one in the ceramic handle, which monitors your ambient temperature, and that is good up to 572 degrees Fahrenheit. The difference is inside the probe it has 3 different sensors, and these sensors are good up to 212 degrees. And with the app you can monitor these 3 separate temperatures, which is pretty cool. This way you can see the temperature differences between the center of the meat and the meat that's more closer to the edge. Another upgrade is the MeatStick says that the battery life on this temperature probe is good for 70 plus hours. That's pretty long. I don't think you need to be cooking something that long, but should I do a 70-hour brisket cook? Now the charger runs on 2 AA batteries and it doubles as an extender. And they say the extender is good for up to 650 feet. Now that is pretty far compared to what these other wireless thermometers are saying for distance. Now I know that's under ideal circumstances, outdoors with no interference at all. But I found that the MeatStick X has incredible range compared to the other wireless thermometers. So if this one is even better than that, I would be extremely happy. Now, if you're not familiar with the MeatStick thermometers, they are Sous-Vide Ready and also deep fry capable, which is a great option. MeatStick has fantastic products and I highly suggest checking them out. One that I really like is their MeatStick Mini. This is a perfect wireless thermometer for smaller cuts of meat like filet mignon, chicken breast, chicken thighs, things like that. I end up using this thermometer a lot. And if you're interested in any of their products, I will put a link down below in the descriptions for you to check them out. But we need something to test this 4X out, and I have the perfect thing. A beautiful rib-eye steak. Now I do something with my steaks that's probably gonna draw a little bit of criticism. What I like to do is about a half an hour to an hour before I'm gonna put this out on the grill, I like to throw it in my freezer. Now the reason I like to do that is because when I cook a steak, I like to sear it hot and fast, then move it over to indirect heat to finish off. So the reasoning behind putting it in the freezer is it gets nice and cool inside, not frozen yet, so when I sear it, it doesn't really cook the inside at all. This way I end up with a larger section of nice pink meat on the inside when I finish cooking it. Those are my thoughts behind it. If you guys don't agree with it, let me know what you think down in the comments below. But I got the steak ready to go, so let's get this thing seasoned. All right, I'm going super simple on the seasoning for this steak. Just a little bit of kosher salt and some black pepper. All right, so super simple on that seasoning, just salt and pepper. I really just want to taste the meat, and we're here today to test out the MeatStick. So today I'm going to be cooking this on a kettle grill. I got the coals in a basket to one side of the grill. I'm going to sear both sides. Once both sides have a nice sear, I'm going to move this to the indirect heat side, cover the grill up, and let this cook until I get to about 125 degrees internal temperature. And we're gonna be monitoring that with the MeatStick 4X today. So on the MeatStick, and as well as with all the other wireless temperature thermometers, they say don't use it over direct heat. So once it's seared, I'll put the thermometer in and I'm gonna move it over to the indirect side. So I've already started my charcoal grill up with some lump charcoal. I really like using lump charcoal. I prefer it over the briquettes. I don't know why, I just like the way that it burns. But it's all fired up, so let's get out there and get this thing cooking. Then we can get into the app and see how it is. All right, let's get this thing seared. So you can see I got all my coals over to one side. Let's get this right over. Let this thing cook. All right, it's been a couple minutes. Let's give this a check. So it's coming along, still needs a little more time. Just gonna give it a little turn. All right, another minute. Let's check this thing out. Oh yeah, yep, beautiful sear. Let's get the other side now. All right, another minute. Let's give it a check. Still needs a little more time. Give it a turn. Let it finish searing. So now just grab your meat stick probe, get it right in the center of your meat, and just put it past that line. So now we're just gonna get that moved over to the indirect side. Get this lid on. We'll let this cook. All right, so when I was out there and I got the probe in the steak, I set up the MeatStick app. So you can see here what I did. All you need to do is click on the stick once it's connected to your app. Then you just go ahead, tap Setup Cook, choose what kind of cook you're doing, grill, smoke, fry, whatever it is. I'm doing grill today. Then choose what kind of meat. I'm doing beef and I'm doing a steak. Then you can go ahead, set up your internal temperature. I'm setting my internal temperature at 125 degrees. You set it to whatever your preference is for cooking a steak. Then you can also set up a ambient temperature alarm. So I just set mine to 550 degrees or so. Not really important for this cook. And in the meantime, when you're doing this, make sure to keep the stick in the base the whole time. Then when it prompts you, pull the stick off the charger, insert it into the meat completely as it shows here in the picture. And remember, there's that line on the probe. You want to make sure to go past that line. Then create cook, and you're ready to go. Let's check this app out and see what kind of features we got. So as you can see, we're at 100 degrees internal on the steak and 257 degrees ambient temperature. Now if you go ahead and click that, up at the top it shows you the battery life, which is nice. It gives you an elapsed cooking time, and it will give you a remaining cooking time once it calculates that. And what's really cool here on this 4X is it gives you all these separate temperatures. So you can see at the tip it's at 116, right in the middle you're at 102, and at the end it's at 128. Now my guess on the reasoning on these temperature differences here, I believe when I put it in the steak, it probably went in at an angle so that tip is more towards the edge, and of course the end near the ambient temperature sensor is towards the edge of the meat as well. Now, I believe that center sensor is directly in the middle of the meat. That seems like an accurate temperature to me. But this is an awesome thing to have 3 different temperatures that you can check here. And if you notice, it's giving me the temperature of the middle sensor. I don't know if that's just default or if it chooses the lowest temperature and gives you that. And then as well on the bottom, you can also see this has a very nice chart you can follow along. It gives you all the different sensors and where they are throughout the cook. Then you can scroll through on the graph in time, and it shows you the different temperatures and how quickly it's been cooking. All in all, this is a very nice app, and I'm really enjoying all the features on this 4X. So this square with the arrow up top, you can go ahead and click that. What that's going to do is create a link. And what I like to do is take that link, email it to myself. So now this way you have the option of setting up this app on a tablet. Then you can leave your tablet at home connected, send that link to yourself. Then anywhere you have internet connection, you can go ahead, get your email, click that link in the email. This is going to bring you to a website. It's going to give you real-time temperature feed from that original device. Now this is an awesome option if you have a tablet or an extra phone available, because once you set this up, you can go out to the store, and as long as you have internet connection, you can check on your temperatures just using that method alone. So that is a great feature on the MeatStick, and so far I'm really enjoying this 4X, and the distance is definitely better than the MeatStick X, which is already really good. So again, I highly suggest these thermometers. This company is doing fantastic things. But that's that. I'm just gonna go ahead and wait till this hits 125 degrees internal temperature, get the steak off, let it rest, and we'll cut it up, see how it came out. All right, the steak is finished. So the MeatStick app will tell you to pull the piece of meat 5 degrees before your target internal temperature, and it'll tell you the carryover heat will bring it up the rest, which it will. As you can see here, I pulled it off at 120 and it ended up getting up to the 125 that I was looking for. Now, I'm super impressed with this wireless thermometer. The 3 internal temperature sensors is a game changer, and I'll tell you the range on this thing is by far better than any other wireless temperature thermometer on on the market right now. I was trying to find some dead spots in my house and I just couldn't find any. This thing has incredible range, which isn't surprising because the original MeatStick X had fantastic range as well. This thing smells fantastic, so I want to get sliced up, see how it came out, and give it a try. And as I mentioned about the differences in those internal temperatures, the probe was going up, so the end was closer to the top side of the meat here. That's why having these 3 internal probes is a fantastic idea. But enough of this, let's get this sliced up. All right, so just take a look at this juicy steak. Beautiful sear on here. This is a nice steak, but let's get this cut up, see how it came out. Today I'm going to be slicing this up with this beautiful Henkel's slicing knife. My brother got this for me for Christmas, so shout out to him. Thank you very much. Let's cut this right in the middle. We'll see how this came out. Oh, gorgeous. Beautiful steak. I don't know how you guys like your steaks, but this is perfect for me. And as usual, the camera is making it look a little less red than it actually is. But either way, that's a good looking steak. Check it out. Yep. Let's get some slices off of here. So there is a beautiful slice of steak. Just check that thing out. Nice and juicy. Beautiful, medium rare. But I want to go ahead, give this thing a try. So this steak came out absolutely perfect. You can't ask for more, and the MeatStick is why it was so easy to cook a perfect steak. But let's take a taste and see if it's good. It's nice and tender, magnificent flavor, just salt and pepper, that's all you need. The direct sear with the charcoal adds fantastic flavor onto this, so good. And just look at that. Tell me that's not a perfect slice of steak right there. All thanks to the fantastic MeatStick 4X. Guys, I would highly suggest picking one of these up. And if you'd like to check them out, I will put a link down in the description below. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong. And I didn't mention it before, but I really like how pointed this tip is. If you have a meter, you know that the tip on their thermometer is very blunt. This comes to a nice point, makes it super easy to put in the meat. Just another fantastic feature of the MeatStick. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe right over here. And if you want to see the video where I compare the MeatStick X to the Meter Plus, you can check it out right over here. But most importantly, get out there and smoke something good.